Good evening, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of Cath-Lit Live. I am your host, Amy Cattapan. You can find me everywhere on social media under my pen name for my children's books, AJ Cattapan. And tonight I am bringing you a guest who is new to Cath-Lit Live, but who I've known through social media for, I'll be honest, I don't even know how many years I've known Joan at this point, but I'm so happy to finally get to talk to her sort of face to face. One of these days we'll meet really face to face because she just lives like the next state over. So we'll have to get together sometime. But I was really excited when I saw her new book. It's from Ave Maria Press, Opening the Holy Door. Perfect for this Jubilee year of hope. And, often I'm interviewing authors and I don't even have time to read their books before they come on the show. But I got this book before my Christmas break. It's nice and thin, as you can see. So it's not going to take you too long to read. If you are planning a trip to Rome this year or just want to do something to participate in the Jubilee Year of Hope, this is a fantastic read. I was able to get through it during my Christmas break, like I said, and I'm so glad that I did. So as you can probably guess, I am talking with Joan Watson today. In case you don't know who Joan is, she is a Catholic speaker and writer who loves to make scripture, theology, liturgy, and history accessible and applicable. She is the Pilgrim Formation Manager for Verso Ministries, a Catholic company who aims to facilitate encounters with Jesus Christ through pilgrimage. With degrees from Christendom College and Franciscan University of Steubenville, Joan has worked for the Church and various religious apostolates for almost 20 years. She has led hundreds of people on pilgrimage to Rome, the Holy Land, and other holy places. Please help me welcome Joan Watson. Hello, Joan.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Amy.
Welcome to Cath-Lit Live. I am so happy to have you on tonight.
So
I was saying, we've chatted before offline or online, I should say. Online, we haven't really gotten a chance to speak on offline, but at least we get to do this. And I'm so excited about your book. I was saying that I got to read it over my Christmas break because as a teacher, it's hard for me to read during the school year. I'm often just reading students' essays, but this I could get read over spring break or Christmas break. Wow, you can tell it was a long day at school today.
yes.
But tell us about Opening the Holy Door. Give us our little elevator pitch for this one.
Sure. So I like the way my mom actually describes it as a prayer book, which I think is because it's guided meditations really on the Holy Door of St. Peter's. So the Holy Door of St. Peter's is only open during Jubilee years. We're in a Jubilee year right now, and the door at St. Peter's is is covered in panels depicting scripture stories. And so what this book does is it goes through those various scripture stories, both looking at the panel themselves in a type of Visio Divina, praying with the pictures, and then also praying with the scripture story and going into it with the Lectio Divina to see what the Lord has to tell us about the virtue of hope, because this Jubilee year is dedicated to hope.
Yeah, and I have to say, I really love that they included the pictures of the panels with each one. It almost felt like a little bit of an art study as you were going along. You could spend a little time really looking at the details of the picture. But let's start back with this whole Jubilee thing again. Why does a Jubilee year matter?
Yeah, so the Jubilees are celebrated in the church now every 25 years, or whenever a Holy Father wants to call a Jubilee. So some people might remember that Pope Francis called an extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy several years ago. But this is an ordinary Jubilee because we're at a 25 year, and they started in 1300 when the Pope wanted to give special graces to the people who were in need of the grace. 1300 was a time of war, of plague, of material hardship. You read about it and you're like, well, it's actually not that different than what we're living through right now. And the people realized that the answer to these problems was prayer and was to hope in the Lord. And so a lot of them went on pilgrimage to Rome. The Pope responded by giving this kind of special year of grace. And so now these years of grace happen every 25 years, and they're marked particularly by pilgrimages to Rome, to the major basilicas of Rome, to the tombs of the apostles. Really, the most important thing is to go and pray at the tombs of the apostles to receive the sacraments, especially to receive the sacrament of confession. So this is one of those years of grace. And regardless of whether you are going to Rome, you're called to embrace this year and celebrate it and receive the grace.
I'm glad you mentioned going and actually praying at the tombs of the apostles, because like you could start to think, oh, it's about the door and just walking through the door, right? But it's
Right.
about more than that. And we can't all get to the door. And I remember when we had that extraordinary year, like I'm in Chicago, Holy Name Cathedral had a door set up, right? So people who couldn't get to Rome could go there. But this year, that's not the case. So what can we do to celebrate the Jubilee if we can't make the pilgrimage all the way to Rome and we're not getting special holy doors at a cathedral in every town?
Yeah. Yeah. It's important that the door is just kind of this image of our passing through the threshold, right? Going to the other side of the threshold. So there aren't holy doors in, local places, but there is a grace extended to those who make pilgrimages to local pilgrimages to places in their own backyard, right? So like the bishop might say, okay, those of you who make pilgrimages to the cathedral, that Jubilee grace is given. So I would encourage people to make those local pilgrimages to either your own cathedral or to shrines in your area. But one grace that I think is really powerful that's given in this Jubilee year is the grace of those who make pilgrimages to Christ within their neighbor. And so the decree on the indulgences for the Jubilee year specifically calls us to bring hope to our neighbors in need. So the homebound, the sick, the suffering, the migrant, those who are suffering. And so I think that's something that we shouldn't overlook, that there are ways to make pilgrimages to Christ present in our neighbors in need. And so that's a great way to celebrate the Jubilee and to receive that indulgence, even if you can't go to Rome.
I love that. I love that. That's a great way to think about it. And it puts it into action, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just talk, it's not just some ritual kind of thing. It's actually living out the faith. So why do we need this kind of a book? Why is it so timely for us now?
Yeah, so I think we live in a time where we can get we can despair, right? We can think that there's no hope. I don't know about you, but I feel like people sometimes think that like the things we're enduring have never been endured before, right? Like, and I was a history major in college, and so like we were going through stuff, and it's like, yeah, we've been through this before, right? There's nothing new under the sun,
Yeah.
and the Lord calls us to hope and to bring that hope to others. And so, as I was writing this book, knowing that a lot of us can't get to Rome, wanting to bring the Jubilee, wanting to bring that grace, but most especially wanting to bring that hope to the world, because it can get ugly if you are on social media too long, if you're gossiping about your neighbor too long, if you're watching the news too long, it gets ugly and people despair. And we need to be Christians full of hope. If anything, we as Christians should have hope. We should have a different message for the world. And so I'm hoping this book can bring some of that, because where are we going to find it but only in the Lord? And so we have to go back to his word and find it in his word.
Yeah, you did a really nice job weaving the theme of hope into each of those panels too. So I really like that. So I do highly recommend it for everyone to go out and read. Where can they find it? Where can they learn more about you, the pilgrimages you lead, and your YouTube channel, all that good stuff?
Yes. So my website is joanwatson.faith, joanwatson.faith. And there you can find links to Amazon and to Ave Maria Press, who is my wonderful publisher for Opening the Holy Door. So you can find it there. You can also find links to versoministries.com, which is where I work full time. And we take pilgrimages. We lead pilgrimages. We're a pilgrimage company. So if you are interested in going to Rome for the Jubilee, going for Carlo Acutis' canonization, Pierre George's canonization, we have trips and we would love to take you to Rome. So you'll also find that. You can go to versoministries.com, or you can find a link on my website as well.
Wonderful. And if people can't make it this year, I mean, there's always going to be pilgrimages in the future years. Always,
right.
always a good time for a trip to Rome if you can make it, I say.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Joan. Such a pleasure to finally talk to you versus just like DMing or commenting on each other's posts.
It's been lovely. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. We're going to wave goodbye to Joan. Thanks, Joan. All right. So good to talk with her. You know, I said to her before, we could probably chat forever. We have so many things in common. She's another fan of The Chosen too, and I'm sure we could have long discussions about that. If you check out her YouTube channel, she's done posts on that, and she does a lot of scripture study and Bible study. So lots of great things to check out there. So go check out Joan's website, go check out Verso Ministries, check out this book. Like I said, the chapters are short. And I was explaining to somebody in my family recently, like, here's a title, here's a picture. And then it's just a few pages. You can read this with your morning coffee, or if you've got a small group, it would be great for a small group discussion. So go check it out. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you're going to Rome, because I want to live vicariously through you if you are. And until next time, I'm just going to wish you all happy reading.